And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We just wrapped up with our first matchup of the night with the TVT. Maru looking dominant there against Kior. But now we're getting into a ZvZ. Again, a bit of a grudge match between Serral and Solo. They have a history, a recent history, with a bit of a back and forth. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. We have Serral for Basilisk. And spawning in the top left, we have for onside, Solar. And if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take this series. I apologize, I was supposed to have predictions open for the previous matchup, but it did slip my mind, so I do apologize. But predictions are open, so place your bets on who you think will advance on into the next round to face off against Maru. Who is it going to be? Now, even though Solar has had a lot of success against Serral specifically and has been able to bring him down many a time over the past couple of months, in recent times, Serral has been fighting back. Serral has been claiming some big wins against Solar, specifically in the group stage of this tournament. So Serral, what I do appreciate, whenever a player goes down in such a fashion, whenever Serral, I'm sure, even takes a loss in ZvZ, it is something that he's working on. It is something that he's been actively improving over time and adapting over his opponents. I'm sure studying, going over some of those games, going over some of those replays, and Serral is that much stronger for it. Again, he does adapt over time. So even though Solar had success a couple of months ago, that may not be applicable here. I am ready for it. For now, hatch gas pool standard openers between both Serral and Solar. Openers are standard as we ease our way into game 1. As a reminder as well, best of 5 is going to be a best of 5 between our two players. Plenty of games to be had. I'm hoping that it's not going to be a 3-0. I'm hoping that regardless of how this turns out, we get a more back and forth. But we'll see. So we go, Overlord going to be moving out. Just getting a read on the timing of the hatchery. Nothing too major. And really, we shouldn't see any deviations until we take the third. We should be just building up towards the third base. Just going to be droning up from here. Getting into the third, getting into a Bailey nest, then into Roach play. Once the Bailey nest is taken, we'll see if we do apply any kind of Ling Bane aggression, as Lings are fanning out to get some scouting information. As we do see Solar first take his third, likewise we do see Serral throwing down his third base as well. No one is skipping the Bailey nest, thankfully. We've seen that pop up from time to time where a player, feels the need or tries to cut some corners and go straight into roaches, and it can be a very terrifying moment to try to overcome. But no one has done that. Bailey nest from both players. And for now, we are going to be backing off. Just going to be droning. We're just really looking for the first sign of aggression here, for a massive wave of Lings to be made, and here we see it. Serral does have 8 additional Lings in production, 10 additional Lings in production, so Serral is going to be the active player. He's going to be moving out. It is going to be on Solar to defend, at least initially. Solar already making some safety bailings back at home. Serral's moving out. We're getting ready to, once he does shut down this Ling, he's going to have to keep up. And if Serral stays at home, then Solar will have a slight worker lead. You can see he's ahead 3 drones because Solar did cut Ling production and has been droning this entire time. Looks like Serral was just trying to be safe. Here. Roach Warrens are on the way. Serral gets a full scout, does confirm the Roach Warren. Mainly going to be zoning Serral away, but should go down. So a good trade for Serral. Good trade overall. As we do ease into 3-base saturation and we ease into Roach v Roach. Like, sure, we made a bit of Ling Bane, but nothing major, nothing enough to really break our opponents. We can see that we're posturing, yes, but we should be able to deflect each other. As Roaches are on the way. They are on the way for both Solar and Serral. Serral going to be rotating over towards left-hand side. He does have a lot of Bailings. Again, I'm sure tempted to get into that mineral line. Ooh, Bailing does get sniped. And just like that, Solar, he has to back off. Has to retrieve the queen, is gonna be going down. Yeah, just barely it does fall. Good pick off here from Serral. He denies mining and he picks up a queen. Very nicely done. Again, Solar, he had a little bit of miscontrol, did end up losing a baneling. And that did kind of like escalate things. Just like that, Serral does take a slight worker lead. Getting into Roach v Roach. Lairs are on the way, plus on range as well. It's been a relatively passive start. There was a small win for Serral where he killed the queen. Outside of that, we've just been chilling, just been droning. We should be getting into the Roach v Roach phase of ZvZ. Riveting, I know. I mean, this is basically going to be very positional play. It's going to be very positional oriented here. It's going to be the ebb and flow of Roach v Roach. Not just that, but our players also have to manage their droning here. As we do see Serral taking a massive worker lead, and Solar cutting workers that much earlier, by the way. Solar cutting workers at 57, that is sub 3-way saturation. Oh, he's cutting workers early on, amassing nothing but roaches. Solar is going to be pushing soon. He's going all in. Serral, he's teching. With his abundance of drones, we're taking up into a Hydra den as we speak. Roaches have been revealed. Now he knows. Now he knows what's been going on. Serral even investing into a 4th base. And Solar, he's pulling the trigger. Can Serral survive? Can he defend? Spine crawlers on the way they need to be. Again, Solar has a massive supply lead. He is pushing. Good concave. So there we go. 2nd spine crawler on the way. Queen's are brought forward as well. If Serral can survive this push, he wins. Like, that's all he has to do. Easier said than done here. Can we survive? We have a good concave. As Solar forces his way in. Does dive onto the army. Gets on top of the Ravagers as well. One Ravager goes down. And now we get on top of the other. There's one Ravager remaining. Queen's being focused down. Spine crawlers do finish. And Solar's being forced back. He is being deflected. Oh, and Solar now in a rough position. He is going to be droning up behind this. Forced to drone. And Serral, he can reap his rewards here. He's been up 10 workers this entire time. He does survive. From here, we can get into 2-2. The 4th base was denied. That is true. Oh, that's we're getting a bit of a pause. Okay, we're good. It looks like maybe the webcam was falling. There was something going on. We are good to jump back in. Solar, he saved us, man. He saved us. There we go. We are just quickly jumping back in here. As yeah, after the push, after the aftermath, Solar is 1 step behind. Like, sure, you can have a look and you can see that the worker counts are even. That is true, but Serral has been mining more for longer. Oh, but his 4th base is denied once again. Once again, we force a cancel. Bile's not quite going to be connecting. Serral, he does hold on to that position. 4th base on the way. You have Tuggling Claws, Burrow as well. Serral still looking quite strong here back at home. But what's important is that at least Solar was able to deny that 4th. Twice now. He denied it twice. He is slowly catching back up. He did end up redroning. We'll see if he can find another way in. Now, because both players are investing into Tuggling Claw Roaches, things are about to get chaotic. Things are about to get very chaotic between our players, where both Solar and Serral are going to be going for Tuggling Claw Roach run-bys. Serral is the first to max out, again, because of his lead earlier. But we'll see if he can make use of that supply lead, as Solar is catching up. Once again, pushing into another concave, though. Biles do connect. We can see Solar trying to slip by, trying to sneak on by here. Does pull back with his main army, and I believe Serral did notice. Yeah, he did. Oh my god. Keen eyes here out of Serral. Did notice those roaches. Is in position, finishes up his Overseer. Does force this back. Very nicely done here by Serral. Now from this moment, both players are maxing out. Both players have hit 200 supply. And again, pushing up this ramp is just so difficult. The concave, the high ground, the point of elevation. Yeah, Solar bleeding out a lot, trying to force his way in. At the same time, Serral committed to a big counterattack. And he's going to be focusing down this fourth base. Again, Serral, he needs less to defend because of his high ground, because of the defender's advantage. And he gets away with this massive counterattack. Snipes a base and is pushing. He's going to be moving out, clashing with the main army. Solar likewise splitting up his forces. On the Biles. They take down an Overseer. They at least get an Overseer. Solar, he slips into the main base with Tunneling Claw Roaches. He gets in. And what can he get done? He's got Roaches in the natural, Roaches in the main. But Serral, he does keep up. And once again, a better engagement for Serral here. Every single time he fights, he has just the better positioning overall. And you can see that reflected in the bank. Even though both players have similar economies, I mean, obviously Solar lost the base, but Serral, he has a massive mineral bank. A big part of that is because of his efficiency. And once again, Solar, he gets caught out. He gets caught on the right-hand side. Serral once again in position. Lurker dens on the way for both players. Serral working on those Hydra upgrades. Remember, that was the other reason why Serral was so vulnerable earlier. He was investing into a fourth and a Hydra, and he's breaking on through. He gets on top of the army. Gets on top of the Ravagers. Solar forced all the way back home here, plummeting in supply. He's racing back home with this harassing army. But he's losing just so much in the process. At the same time, Solar's being dragged out of position, and we're looking to snipe the third base. Not like this. The base taking a lot of hits. Serral coming back in. And it's just a numbers game. Solar just doesn't have enough. He is being broken. He defends on the right-hand side, but he is broken on the left. GG gets called. It's just too much to overcome, and Serral will take game number 1. GG, well played. Again, Serral getting away with quite a bit of greed. If you remember, the scariest moment this game for Serral was when Solar cut workers. If you recall, when we wind it back, Solar, he cut workers at 57, cut workers relatively early on, and did commit to a 3-base all-in. Solar, he went for a 3-base all-in, and Serral was being quite greedy. Remember, he had droned up 10 workers over his opponent. He had a 4th base, he had the Hydrogen on the way. But once he realized what was going on, and very important that he did, threw down Spine Crawlers, and he set up so well defensively, brought his Queens forward as well. Very clutch defense there out of Serral, and from that moment, Serral was in the driver's seat. Now, it wasn't just that. The other impressive thing, of course, is that Serral, he was able to see the Tunneling Claw Roaches coming ahead of time. Fun fact, he reacted even without detection. He was able to get eyes on it, and then he reactively started making detection when he saw the shade, the shadow on the ground moving towards his natural base. Very impressive. Like, I was a little bit in shock as to how he was able to get eyes on that. But yeah, Serral, he was able to keep up, able to shut down any kind of harass, and Solar was just trying to be as aggressive as possible, but didn't find any success. And now we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Serral for Basilisk. And in the top right, you have his opponent. We have Solar for Onside. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, do we have clowns backseating in the chat? Shaking my head. Hey, calm down, Poppy, calm down. As Solar looking to spice things up, here we go. We do have a goal base on the way. Vámonos, Poppy. The goal base is going to be taken here by Solar. Very cheeky. This is something that we've seen a lot on maps like Alcyone. We see it on Equilibrium as well, where players are willing to embrace this. Now, to take this goal base this early on, we typically go for an all-in. We do not go for a long game. It is so difficult to hold on to this base in a standard game, especially when we get into Roach v Roach. So this will typically lead into either a Ling Bane bust or a Roach rush. That's usually how things go here. So Solar once again going to be the aggressor. Serral so far hasn't gotten eyes on this yet. Drones are going to be main outed over towards that goal base. They're going to be avoiding that overlord. They do slip away. And they will slip in. To the gold, I mean. And a lot of this is going to come down to when Serral does scouts and how he does react. You can see that the overlord, I believe, is rallied to that mineral line. As yeah, Serral, he confirms that the hatchery is missing, and upon seeing this, he should be aware to check. And there we go, second overlord being sent over towards the gold. Serral will soon confirm. Now, just because you know what's going on doesn't mean you can stop it. Again, it's been mining for quite some time. Solar will soon be getting into his own queen production, his own lings. Ling speed is comparable between the two players, and as we mentioned, usually when you take this space, it's to rush, and there it is, Roach Warren already on the way. So we are going for a Roach Rush from Solar. You can go one or the other. You can go for a Bane Bust or a Roach Rush, and Roaches are going to be the answer for Solar. Here we go. So we are going to be knocking this down. Do have a defensive Baneliness on the way from Serral. Try to keep up. Lings are amassing. Against Solar, he will have the better economy here, at least for the time being. And we'll see if he can make use of it. Now, Solar has to be very careful not to be too premature. What I mean by that is that roaches are good, but roaches in low numbers are very prone to being surrounded. And Serral has a massive amount of lings. Solar has to be very careful with his roach positioning. Cannot allow that to happen. Does have to preserve them. There we go, banelings are on the way. Roaches are amassing here in the mineral line. So far, I'm loving the whole position there, walling off those mineral patches. Walling off that mineral line. So let's have to be careful though. Does pull back. Additional roaches on the way. Solar does reposition to protect his reinforcements. Banelings are done. And can Solar deal with this? Got the Spine Crawler on the way to protect that mineral line. Serral, he wants to either collapse on the army or get into a base. Get into either the main or the natural. Bailey's crash in. Good start. 3 drones go down. 3 workers will go down. Serral keeping his attention on that goal base once again. Solar a bit out of position, gonna get surrounded. The roaches are surrounded. The Bailings, they crash on in as well. They actually go past. And with that, Solar, he is gonna get cleaned up. Lings they're trickling on in, but alas, it's not going to be enough here. As Solar, he will be surrounded, will lose everything. And from here, Serral, he can go for the mineral lines, he can go for the bases, go for the economy. GG gets called. Serral takes a 2-0 lead. GG. GG, well played. And as he takes a 2-0 lead, a big shout out to Thriving GG in the Bappy. Big shout out to Thriving GG in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great stream. Hope the ladder treated you well, Bappy. Take care, take care. Welcome, everyone, welcome. You're here just in time for our second match of the night. We just wrapped up with Maru versus Cure. It was a very fast series. And this one is looking to be similar here, as we're getting into Game 3 of Serral vs. Solar. This is a best of 5, and welcome to Masters Coliseum. It is a premier tournament. There's around over 42k on the line, 43,000 prize pool, I believe, 43,000 USD. And this is the premier event leading into I Am Katowice. I Am Katowice is still in a couple of weeks, and we're here to determine the form of all of our players. And so far, Maru is looking dominant. Serral, likewise, looking very dominant as well. Now, when it comes to this series, if you missed out on Game 1 and Game 2, Solar has been hyper-aggressive. In Game 1, he went for a big 2.5 base all-in off of 57 drones. In Game 2, Solar likewise rushed into the goal base, went for a Roach Rush, but he got surrounded as well. And will we calm things down or keep things up? As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner for Basilisk, we have Serral. And in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have, for onside, Solar. Here we go. And again, Serral, he had a beautiful reaction to the goal base. As we mentioned, Solar was trying to go for a Roach Rush, using that goal to kind of like leapfrog or just position himself and move out across the map. But Serral, upon realizing what was happening, threw down the Bailey nest, mass Lings, and he was able to just pull Solar apart, threatening the main base, threatening the goal base, was able to catch him out, get us around, and cleaned up all the roaches. Again, just really good positional play out of Serral, just forcing Solar out of position. And now we're in game 3, and now Solar, he's up against the wall. Again, he has taken maps, he has taken series from Serral in the past. In recent history, he has done so. But the pressure is on, and he needs to do it again. And we need to win every game moving forward to force the ace match. Not going to be easy, not impossible, but not easy here for Solar. As we are getting into standard openers, it's going to be Hatch Gas Pool. There's no goal base on site Delta to tempt our players, unfortunately. I'm just gonna say it, the early goal base always backfires. We've seen it succeed. We've seen it succeed. Specifically, Raynor has used it to success. A laser was very fond of that goal base at the start of the patch. I should emphasize though, when it comes to the success of the goal base, most of the success behind that base being rushed into was in like the first month of the patch, the first month of the new map pool, when I assume players were still kind of getting a feel for things. Someone who still consistently does succeed with it is Dark. Dark is very fond of rushing into that gold, specifically in ZVP, not in ZvZ, but in Zerg versus Protoss, he does rush into it, and he can look terrifying when he does it. it's crazy, but that's also specifically Dark. Outside of that, yeah, it does feel like it has been played out a little bit more, and players are more familiar with how to react, as opposed to the surprise factor of the newer map pool and, you know, being unfamiliar with some of these strategies. So again, just really good reaction from Serral behind this. Bailey Nest is going to be on the way from both Serral and Solar. Are getting to Link speed, and we are just looking mirrored so far. No one is really diverging yet. We're just waiting for our third bases to get up and running to see if anyone commits to Link main aggression or if anyone commits into faster roaches. We shall see. Now, loading into Site Delta, it is more of a defendable map. This is one of the few maps that actually has a ramp leading into the natural. As a result, it's a little bit too late for that, but I was going to say that this wouldn't be a bad map to go 2-base roach on either. We can see that our players haven't really embraced that here, but it is that much more difficult to break into, as Lings do slip in, and the Roach Warren has been thrown down. Roach Warren already on the way here for Solar. Quite fast, actually. And Serral has yet to confirm. He did see that a building was on the way, didn't manage to see what it was, but I'm sure he's aware. And he should be throwing down his own Roach Warren, and there it is on the way. It's only a couple of seconds later, not the biggest of deals. There's a small window, I guess, where Solar can maybe have an extra Roach, but by the time it gets across the map, like Serral, he will have enough. As we are just going to be droning from here. We are going to be droning. Specifically, Serral is going to be droning, but my eyes are on Solar, because Solar, he's cutting workers at 38. He just made 3 overlords, and there's a big reason why. Solar, he is going all in. Once again, he is the aggressor here. He's cutting workers at 38. We have 9 roaches on the way. We're amassing Lings as well. No more saturation, no more droning for Solar. It's all or nothing. And Serral, so far, hasn't pieced this together. He is making a couple of defensive roaches. He did drone up a little bit, and yeah, I mean, Serral, he should be okay. He only droned up to 41. He only made a handful of extra workers. He's amassing up roaches. He realizes how aggressive his opponent is being. And Serral is getting ready for the push. Spinecrawler on the way. Yes, Serral taking this very seriously. Spinecrawler, additional overlords. Now Solar, if he sees a defensive position, he may back off and just go for the third. He doesn't have to commit into the natural. The concave is looking good. Bailey's are being focused down as well. And Solar, he just cannot break in. Not like this. The trades are just too good here. And Serral, he keeps those Bailings alive for those Lings. The Lings are being zoned away. Up. And we just shut down the roaches completely. Solar's army crumbles. We didn't even use the Spinecrawler. Oh, Lings, they do flood in. But the wall is a wall. Good movement out of Serral. And Solar's in a rough position. He's still not droning, by the way. Solar, he's still amassing lings and roaches. He's going for a second wave. Now, the goal here, the purpose, is to hope that Serral drones. The purpose here is that Solar, he's hoping that Serral is droning after winning that fight, and that he catches him off guard. He catches him with his pants down while he's being too greedy and too economic. The problem is that Serral isn't droning. Serral, he's still producing army. He's ready for the next fight. So, Solar taking a bit of a chance here. Taking a bit of a risk. Lings, they do slip in, that we do get eyes on the producing army. And Solar sending everything here across the map towards that third. Serral, do we have any banelings? Mainly roaches to defend. Lings will help as we do collapse on this. But there are just so many roaches at the same time. Do we get in? We do! We barely do not. One Ling slips into the main base, but only one. And Serral, he's shutting down this army for a second time. GG gets called, and Serral will take the 2-0, sorry, with a 3-0, will take down Solar. GG. Again, we had a very similar kind of outlook on every single game here, where Solar was the aggressor. Solar, he just went all in every single game. Different variations is what I will say. Different variations of aggression, different variations of all in. But alas, that is how Solar has beaten Serral in the past, and we spoke about this at the start of the series. Ever since Serral lost to Solar, he has been adapting. He has been that much more aware of Solar's potential for aggression. He knows that, hey, this is someone that I cannot drone freely against. It is how I lost previously. And Serral, he is that much more attentive when it comes to scouting, when it comes to respecting what Solar's doing. So just really good defensive play out of Serral. This time he doesn't get caught out. He doesn't get caught off guard. And GG. GG, well played. With that, we have our first 2 series in the books. We have 2 more after this break. Gonna be going on a short break. When we return, Dark versus Rainer. The ZvZs continue. See you soon.